A. Thomas, and this is my professional development plan. Our professional development plan is composed of 5 parts. It is to include our goals for the future, our personal plan for growing professionally, our methods for inspiring teachers to become leaders, our ways to stay abreast of the latest trends in technology use, and our process for maintaining integrity through the adherence to the current code of ethics, legal issues, and moral behaviors. My short-term goal is to finish my administration degree. I would love to do that within the next year. Within the next 2 years, I see myself being an instructional coach at a local high school. Within the next 5 years, my mid-range goal is to go back to school and either get a degree in adult education or curriculum and instruction. My mid-range employment goal is to be an assistant principal at a high school. And my long-term goal is to get a doctorate in adult education and be a director of curriculum and instruction at a local board of education. When one becomes an administrator, one of the most important jobs that you have, besides motivating students, is motivating teachers. And teachers must be movers and shakers. They must want to move up into leadership roles to further their career. So as a principal, I have 3 ways that I intend to inspire teachers to become leaders. The first way is to value their input. I intend to get my teachers' input every step of the way that I can. I will use surveys, use email, use faculty meetings as an opportunity for them to voice their opinion. And also, I would like to have a one-on-one conference with each teacher in my building before the first quarter is up. I just want to know their goals, what they want to accomplish this year, and where I can use them, where they can help. A lot of times people don't get to show their strengths, such as coaching and being a club sponsor or being a cheerleading sponsor, because veteran teachers have taken those jobs. So I want to get input from everybody in the building and see what it is that they would like to do. And if I can accommodate their choice, I definitely will. Another way that I intend to inspire teachers to become leaders is that I intend to recognize their hard work. I want to implement a reward strategy in my school where we recognize 4 or 5 teachers per month for doing just great things. It doesn't have to be those that have the best test scores. It can be those that have the least discipline reports, those that have been the most enthusiastic this quarter, those that have always had a smile on their face, those that have helped others. I want to recognize each teacher for something and show them that I value them and help them to get out of their shell if that is an issue, to become a leader. I also want to implement a buddy program in my school. And buddy meaning if there's something that you want to do and you don't want to come to me, I'm going to pair you with a buddy. It's kind of like a mentor, but I want that person to help you along the way. So in our one-on-one conference, if you tell me that you want to be a student council sponsor, I'm going to pair you with the current student council sponsor, and maybe you can shadow them and help out and find your spot to do that. A lot of times teachers are overwhelmed. They volunteer to sponsor clubs or help out with an activity and they get overwhelmed and they really do need help and they don't know who wants to help them. So I want to use this buddy program as a means to get people together, make connections to people who might not normally talk. The whole goal of inspiring teachers to become leaders, in my opinion, is forming relationships. So I feel that if I have a relationship with the teachers inside of my building, they'll be more apt to stretch for me. I want everybody in my building to stretch to their greatest potential. And no, everybody might not want to be an administrator when they grow up, so to speak, but they might want to do something outside of the classroom. They might want to coach. They might want to lead an after-school organization. They might want to help out with media teams. They might want to start a club or a after-school activity. So I want to give teachers an opportunity and a sense of welcome where they feel comfortable coming to me with these new ideas that they have. I love technology. I have a master's level certificate in instructional technology, so I am seriously a technology junkie. One of the ways that I intend to stay current on what is going on within technology is that I intend to listen to my students. A lot of the times when districts get a hold of technology initiatives, it's too late. It's things that students have already stopped using. So I like to keep up with my students. A good example of this is that Snapchat is the big social media program right now amongst teenagers. So I use Snapchat in my classroom. I've created a teacher Snapchat and I use it as a review tool. When students get ready to review the lesson or close the lesson for the day, they have to send me a snap and they have to summarize the lesson within 30 minutes. I do a lot of webinars. I'm also a part of several groups. I use the online management system known as Schoology and CoreSites. And within Schoology, I'm a part of blended learning, flipped classroom, STEM. And within CoreSites, I'm a part of the Educator Network. So I love to read newspaper articles, pay attention to my students, and use webinars and workshops and professional development opportunities as a means of staying abreast in what's going on in technology. For me, ethics isn't a difficult issue. One of the reasons that I became an educator is because of my faith. And although I don't discuss it openly in class because it violates state laws, I believe that my faith has a lot to do with how I operate and act as a teacher. I have certain rules and morals and mores in my class and ways of doing things, and I introduce my students to these starting day one. I don't put myself in any situation that could even look to be compromising. I don't hug students. I don't accept gifts from students. I don't take any type of bribes. I have a very strict Turnitin policy and grading policy so that students get what they earn and there is no favoritism shown in grades. I'm aware of the code of ethics. When I worked in Georgia, ethics was a standard because of the Atlanta cheating scandal. So we had to go in depth with ethics laws and what was and what was not acceptable. As far as legal issues, I try to make sure that I stay within the guidelines that teachers are supposed to stay within. I don't say anything out of the way to my students. I make sure that if I have a conference with a student that the door is always open, and if I feel like it's going to be a hostile conference, I make sure that I have another teacher or administrator in there as a witness to what is going on, or a parent. Moral behaviors. I don't do anything inappropriate with my students. I don't even like hugging my students. I'm not a touchy-feely person, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to do anything that can be perceived as being wrong by anybody that's looking on from the outside looking in. In my opinion, as long as you treat the students how you want to be treated, you show them respect and you realize that they are human beings. They have feelings and you have to respect those feelings and you have to respect their space. Then I feel like, as far as integrity and legal issues and anything else that could arise within the teaching field, that you don't have to deal with those. When it comes to breaking up fights, I don't break up fights unless it is absolutely necessary. And when I do make up fights, I've gone through de-escalation training, and there are certain tactics that you have to use. So I feel like as long as you stay within your bubble on what you're supposed to do, teachers good and bad, that you will be okay. My plan for growing professionally is easy in my opinion. The main component of my plan for growing professionally is experience. as long as you stay in the classroom, you stay in education, and you deal with students, you will learn something. I learn something new from my students every day. Another big component of my plan to grow professionally is to teach diverse and varied subjects. For the past 3 years, I've been a social science teacher. My undergraduate is in secondary education for social science. This year, I've kind of stepped out of that box with the information technology certification. I took a praxis and I'm now certified to teach business and marketing. So I teach career prep and BTA this year. So that's been a big switch for me because I'm not inside of the traditional classroom. I'm inside of a computer class. So as much as you can learn, I've learned this year, it's almost like I'm a brand new teacher. So when you teach different subjects and you don't limit yourself, so to speak, I know you kind of have no control over what you have to teach. But take the opportunity when your administrator tells you, you know, I need somebody to teach AP US history. I need somebody to teach psychology. Can you do that for me? Because you learn a lot from that. I also have a desire to continue with my education. I would love to finish this administration degree. I've learned a lot as far as how to deal with supervisors, how to deal with colleagues, and how to deal with my children from the administration degree. I intend to get a degree in adult education because I do want to deal with adults in the long term. I would love to be at the board. And as a director of curriculum and instruction, my main goal would be teaching teachers. So I need to get how to teach adults because teaching adults is different from teaching children. I also tend to listen to my students. I feel that students are the number one teacher. As much as we're teaching them, they're teaching us. So listen to your students, old and new. I take surveys every year and I ask students, you know, what are things that worked well for you in this class? What are things that you did not like? I do it at the end of every quarter. And that helps me to grow as a professional because there are things that I can be doing better and there are things that I do wrong. So when my students call me on it, it helps me to become a better teacher in the end. I love to take advantage of professional development opportunities. I love talking to veteran teachers because they've been in this radio longer than I have. So they have a lot of great ideas. I'm only in year 4.5. So technically I've got 26 more years of learning to go. So I intend to take every year as a learning opportunity. And I feel that as long as I have that open mind and go in with the attitude that I'm going to learn something from my students and they're going to learn something from me, I'm going to continue to grow.